What it do? What it do? I'm back. I'm back. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. How was everybody's weekend? Let's see if anybody pulls up before we just keep rambling. What's good? What's good? What y'all think about this college football weekend? Opening weekend of college football? Well, I guess there were some games last week. But how y'all feeling? How y'all feeling? Where's everybody? What's good? What's good? Uh-oh. Miami's on the move. Miami's on the move. What's everybody doing? Y'all watching football? Raiders. How y'all feeling? 7 days. 7 days away from Raider football. We are 4 days away from NFL football. We have games Thursday and Friday, right? Thursday and Friday. Geo Megs, what's good? What's good? How about them Razorbacks? Anybody watch the Razorbacks this weekend? I told y'all should watch Taylor Green. I mean, Raider fan for life. What's good with the $2 holla? I guess I should have grabbed glasses so I could read the comments, but what do y'all think about this Notre Dame Miami game? If the regular season goes like this, I'm not going to be too excited, man. So far, all these big, huge games this weekend have been nothing but absolute defense. Defense, and more defense. Man, I'm tired of seeing defense. Unless you watch the Arkansas Razorbacks. Nothing but offense. What did we put up? 52? Taylor Green had 6 touchdowns. Y'all got to look at the view. I got to get glasses. Touchdown Miami. Oh no. Oh no. Are the Hurricanes back? Are the Hurricanes back? Man, I can't read this. You ready for next week's games? Man, I'm past ready, bro. I'm past ready. Jonah, what's good? Junior Cairo, Chiefs Nation, shut up. You was laughing at Alabama yesterday? Yes, I love to see Alabama lose. Now there's talks of Gruden going to Alabama. Man, I don't want to see that. I do not want to see Gruden in Alabama. I look stoned. I stay stoned, bro. What are you talking about over here? What you talking about over here, huh? Huh? We stay lit. We stay lit. Touchdown Miami. Carson Beck. Carson. Oh, what a catch. Oh, my God. Oh, what? What? Okay. What a catch. That was not a Carson Beck touchdown. That was all receiver. Oh, my God. What a grab. If you're not watching the Notre Dame Miami game, you're missing out. You're missing out. It's a solid-ass game. Solid-ass game. You ready for the season to start already? Yes. Where am I from? I'm from parts unknown. I'm all over, man. All over. I was born a Cali boy. Right now, I reside in Arkansas, Razorback country. I need to shave. Damn. What do you think about Thayer Mumford being picked up by the Patriots? I figured that's where he would go. You know, he was drafted by Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. Dick Daniels, as I call him. So, you know, I figured if anybody was going to give him a shot, it would be the Patriots and Josh McDaniels. But to put him on the practice squad I think is funny. You know, I don't know if he makes his way up. Billy D, what's good? What's good? Golly, man. Yeah, I don't know if he makes his way up, if he stays on there long, if he gets cut. Um, more than likely, he ain't gonna be there too long. So, man, what's good with everybody? How's everybody's weekend? Did y'all watch college football games? What was your favorite besides Alabama losing? If you haven't seen the Razorback game, just go on YouTube, type in Razorback highlights, and watch Taylon Green cook. Cook. Just cook, bro. I'm telling you. Nasty, nasty work. He is 10 times better than he was last year. What's good? What's good? The one. Appreciate you. Um, hey, we're crazy as Hawaiian candy chat earlier. I don't know. Ever see a UFO out there? Um, I see some crazy shit in the sky that I don't know what the hell it is. I don't know if it's a UFO, but there are some wild, wild things some nights. Definitely. Did you watch the Florida State game? Yes, yes. It was very, very nice. Florida State looked like, they are back. It's been a long time, right? Since Florida State was, it's always been one of those powerhouses in college football. So it's good to see, right? It's good to see teams like Florida. I just hope my Razorbacks are back, man. We got one of the hardest schedules out of all of college football. We have to play Notre Dame. We have to play Ole Miss. We have to play Texas. We play Texas Tech. We play, I don't even, and it goes on and on and on. So, yeah, the Arkansas Razorbacks, they get no love. They get no love when it comes to the FCS standings and schedule wise. But that's all right. We got Taylon Green, and Taylon Green is cooking. 6'6", with Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino, a lot of people don't realize, but Bobby Petrino coached, Brandon Allen, who's made it to the NFL. He's been a backup his whole career, but he leads a lot of records in Arkansas. You don't like Florida State as a powerhouse? I don't know. However, Bobby Petrino also coached Lamar Jackson, which a lot of people don't know, at Louisville. Yes, Bobby Petrino was his offensive coordinator. And, Taylon Green is a mobile quarterback that has that dog in him. He reminds me absolutely of a Raider quarterback. He don't slide. He takes hits because when you're 6'6", you're bigger than most defensive backs and linebackers. So, Taylon Green is a stud, bro. Definitely a stud. McFadden was a Razorback. Man, I went to a Razorback signing Friday night, right? I didn't get to tell the story because my back has been jacked. Kind of why I'm sitting on this right now. No matter which way I sit, it's horrible. But the ESPN, because they're celebrating Peyton Hillis, Felix Jones, and Derek McFadden for their accomplishments in the Arkansas Razorbacks. And some of y'all don't know, but they were all three on the Razorbacks at the same time. One of the best trios to ever be on a team together. Felix Jones, Darren McFadden, come on. With Peyton Hillis as an absolute dog. So, anyways, I went to the signing Friday night. Me and my son, we got there. I was like, damn, we should make up some posters. So I had some, I did my little magic real quick on the phone. I went up there and I had some posters made up. I'll show them to you here in a minute, maybe, or maybe next time. I don't know. I gotta find them. But I had some posters made up, and we got up there, and they cut the damn line off right at us. They were like, nope, these are the last two we're taking. We can't take any more. They have to be done by 8 o'clock. And if we take any more people, I was pissed, bro. Absolutely pissed. I'm telling you. I was like, man, I thought I was going to have McFadden autograph on a nice-ass poster I had made up. One of a kind, right? Nobody would have it. There's only one on the planet. And they cut me off, bro. They cut me off. I'm sticking to my 8-10 prediction, Rebel. Um, if you put me against the fence, I'm gonna say 8 wins, and we'll be happy. Uh, um, if we hit what? If we hit more, you feel? You know, it's somewhere around there. It's somewhere around there. I know I went crazy at the beginning and said 12-5, and I said I'd stick to it. So I'm gonna stick to it. I'm not gonna do any more predictions. I'm not changing my mind. It's 12-5. It's 12-5, and I said a lot has to happen, but I feel like a lot is on our side this year. All right, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So I know y'all seen the thumbnail. I don't mean to waste everybody's time. Jason Ruiz, what's good? Um, Trevon Diggs, right? Trevon Diggs. The Cowboys have signed Bland to a ridiculous, huge ass contract that makes him, one of the highest paid players as a defensive back. You can't afford to, right? You can't afford to. A team that just got 2 more first-round picks. So that means the Dallas Cowboys, whatever, sorry, I don't mean to disrespect. So that means the Cowboys, I hate saying that, have 4 picks in the first round for the next 2 years. You can't afford to pay Dak Prescott. You can't afford to pay Bland. You can't afford to pay... you can't afford to pay all these guys all this money, right? It adds up. It adds up. So when you have all those draft picks, there's a lot of good corners coming out this year and next year. There's a lot of good quarterbacks. There's a lot of defensive linemen. There's a lot of edge rushers, linebackers, you name it. There's a lot of good players coming out of college football over the next 2 years. The Cowboys have 4 first-round picks. So if you look at it, right? And maybe it's not this year. Maybe this year but next year, I do believe his contract is up. They just signed the guy on the other side of him to a huge-ass contract. They just did Micah Parsons absolutely ridiculous by not signing one of the best and probably will go down as one of the greatest all-time if he stays healthy. Micah Parsons is a freak of nature, bro. You don't get guys like that every day. You don't get guys like that every 2 years or even every 5 years. So for the Cowboys to trade him away, they have a plan, right? They have a plan, and maybe it's a rebuild plan. Maybe they're not happy with Dak Prescott. Maybe they wait to see how Dak goes this year, and maybe they go after one of these young-ass quarterbacks in the first round. Or maybe they go after one of these cornerbacks in the first round, right? There's a couple of them that are standing out already in week 1. So there's a possibility. There's a possibility that they're trying to save money. Obviously, they didn't sign one of the best, like I said, defensive ends out there right now, and probably one of the best of all time when it's all said and done. So I feel like, Trevon Diggs could be on the market. He could be on the market. And if that's the case, that would sure up our defensive backfield like that, right? You have a shutdown corner. You have 3 or 4 guys you can rotate on the other side if Eric Stokes, which we'll get to that in a bit, is not doing his job. That is my major question on this defense. Is Eric Stokes was CB number 1 all through camp. No competition. They didn't put anybody else over there with the ones. It was all Eric Stokes. And for that, got me a little nervous. Got me a little... come on, man. Them hands are steady, bro. But really, it's a big question for me. It's a big question. Is Eric Stokes that good? I didn't see it in the preseason. I seen a preseason where he got cooked a lot. He gave up a 9, almost, I think over 9 yards a catch in the preseason. So he wasn't out there a lot. Is the fact that he didn't start out hot, is it concerning? It is to me. It's very concerning. So on the other side, you have a big question. We all hear about Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll's size. Pete Carroll likes him big. He likes him tall. He likes him long, fast. we have 3 guys on that roster that are only 6 foot, right? They're not the biggest. One is Eric Stokes. The other one is Kai Blue Kelly, who they're saying is going to get a lot of reps and take a lot of the snaps. You know, we let Jacorian Bennett go, who was 5'10", 5'11", right? We're talking an inch or two, and I've said it a million times. An inch might matter to your girl, but it should not matter in the NFL, bro. It should not matter. So letting Jacorian Bennett go is going to be rough, and I feel like we have to replace him. And there's, you know, Bradbury's still out there. There's, you know, teams we can make trades for. Players we can make trades for. There's guys they just cut in Jabril Peppers. We'll get into Peppers here in a minute. I think the Raiders should pick up the phone. I really think they should pick up the phone, call the Dallas Cowboys and say, look, you know, his contract's up next year. Are you planning on paying Diggs this money? And if you're not going to renew him, let's just take him off your hand this year, right? Go do what you got to do. Because they got a couple defensive backs out there. They got one that's, you know, I think hurt for the year. But they got a couple guys behind them. And, you know, maybe they can bring in some guys. Or maybe they could trade with us for some guys we have. I don't know. But I feel like there's a possibility. There's a possibility that with the way things are going for the Cowboys, Trevon Diggs, you know, makes sense being on the trading block if you're the Cowboys, right? If you're trying to rebuild and you're trying to use all them picks you got next year. He wasn't happy with the trade. He's been in the media talking shit about the Cowboys. Same thing that kind of happened with Micah Parsons. So I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I don't have any inside scoop or any information. But if I was the Raiders, I'd be picking up the phone. Next up is Hunter Renfrow, man. Hunter Renfrow. So Hunter Renfrow was released by the Panthers. The Raiders had brought him in for a visit earlier in the year. And I really thought they should have took a chance on Hunter Renfrow. Let me know in the comments, yes or no. If you felt like the Raiders should have took a chance on Hunter Renfrow, brought him in, even if it was practice squad, right? Bring him in, let him show these young receivers on the practice squad. Bring him up week to week or whatever. Keep him on the practice squad. Bring him up game day. However it works out. I thought they should have took a chance. Well, they waited too long. The Panthers, you know, they cleared waivers and went right by us, and the Panthers scooped up on them. So shout out to Hunter Renfrow, former Raider, you know, once a Raider, always a Raider. So shout out to him making a roster this year and actually getting to play football. Yes, it's on the practice squad, but it won't be long before that man is on the field. He's, you know, still one of the best route runners out there. He's one of the hardest guys to cover in the NFL. So shout out to Hunter Renfrow. And I think, you know, the Raiders missed out. Brennan Jackson pickup from the Lambs was dope. I agree 100%. He's the guy that's going to give us, you know, he can play that outside linebacker position. He can get to the quarterback. He's a sure tackler. So he's going to make a difference. Definitely. And I don't know if is he on the 53-man roster or on the practice squad? I need to look that up. It's hard doing lives on the phone. I don't have anything to look shit up. It's the Cowboys. They're going to be mid again. I mean, I don't know about mid. They got a pretty solid defensive lineman. Yes, they're going to have to, you know, fill that hole. But there are some defensive linemen out there still on free agency, you know, that I talked about that the Raiders should go get. Javon Clowney, I think, is still out there. I mean, he ain't going to replace Micah Parsons, but for the money, for the price, you know, I'm going and getting Clowney. Like, if I'm the Cowboys, I need somebody to, you know, get to the quarterback. That's who I'm signing. If I'm them. Renfrow made an extra $2 million from being cut and re-signed. I mean, that's good for him. I'm surprised nobody scooped up on him, though. Like, what were the Panthers? Where did they draft last year? 10th, 11th, somewhere like, 8th? I do believe 8th. So, yeah, I can't believe he made it through 8 teams. Like, it's just surprising for me. Very, very surprising. Shout out to everybody in the building. Real One OG, what's good? Alex and Pigs, appreciate you. Appreciate you. How's everybody doing on this Sunday night? Who is your football team? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. Who do you root for in college football? If you watch college football, were you happy with the results from your team? Let me know. Let me know. He likes them big and long. No pauses. No pauses here. We're past the pause stage. And that safety 6'3" they got. What they got from the defending camp looks dope too. Tristan McCollum. I like Tristan McCollum. I like, he definitely fits the bill for Pete Carroll with the size, with the length, and hopefully physicality, man. We need somebody that's going to be a lockdown corner out there. Like, all I hear constantly is talk about how this, the corner room is scary. I'm not with everybody else. I think they're going to be scary sneaky. I really do. I think they're going to surprise some people, with their size. Most of them are pretty fast and pretty quick. And you don't have to be, you don't have to be sticky. You don't have to be Velcro to these receivers. You just have to be able to recover. And when you have long arms, right, you don't have to be, stuck to them to make a play. You only have to be within a yard. Depending on how long your arms are, maybe, 2-3 steps away, these guys can still, jump and break up the play. So you don't always have to get interceptions. Pass breakups are just as good, in my opinion. I love nothing better than, seeing somebody jarred loose from the ball. And I want to see that this year, man. I want to see that, which is why my next subject is Jabril Peppers, man. Go sign this guy. What are we doing here? What is wrong with this team? Like, if you have a problem shoring up your safety room, I know Pete Carroll wants to get these young guys. He wants to teach them his way. But you have a guy that has a 92.3 cover rating in the NFL. He is one of the top 3 cover safeties in all of the NFL. Why he was cut, I have no idea. And if he signed yet, I don't know, because I haven't been really paying attention. I've been laid up for a little bit. But what are we doing here, man? You have to go get Jabril Peppers. If Pete Carroll wants that Cam Chancellor guy in the middle that's going to come in and smack people in the mouth, right? Dislodge the ball. Even if they get their hands on it, he could still be 2-3 yards away. And there's still going to be an incomplete, right? That's what we need to see from this team, because in the cover 3 defense, in that 4-3 base, we're going to have a lot of linebackers out there. That means we're only going to have 2 safeties, 2 corners. And these guys are going to have to do their job. And I think that's what a lot of people are worried about, the guys we have that are starting being able to do their job. We've heard Pete Carroll say it's going to be defensive back by committee. Now, I've never heard of that. I've heard a running back by committee, but I've never heard a defensive back by committee, right? By committee, you got to get in a groove, just like any other position, right? You got to get locked in. And once you get a tackle for a loss, or, a stop when a guy could have broke it, you were the last line of defense, and you stop them from, breaking a 20-30 yard touchdown run, you get in the groove, right? And then you get taken out. Then you got to sit on the sideline and watch somebody else come in and watch them get cooked, and then you got to get put back in. I don't think that's the best philosophy as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not an NFL coach. I'm sure the hell not Pete Carroll, who's been doing it for 40 years. And maybe he knows something we don't. Fuck Philadelphia. I'm down. That's going to be a tough game, too. Packers going to win the Super Bowl? Damn. Raiders corners better play well week 1. And that's a damn good subject. Y'all double tap the screen. Yes, please double tap the screen. Show some love. I'm going with Notre Dame, the team college, because that's the only one I know from the movies. You're going with a college team because of the movies? What the fuck? Wait. I was told that Carson Beck would be a high draft pick last year before his injury. Would you draft him? Uh, it depends where we are. It depends where we are, right? If I don't know, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of good quarterbacks, and I would take Taylor Green before him any day of the week. His upside is through the, into the clouds, bro. So it depends on who's available. It depends on what position. Would I take him in the first round? Probably not. Now, if he comes out and proves that he could take a team like Miami, that's been struggling for a long, long time, like he did, Texas? Where was he at last year? Um, like he did last year. I think they only lost 1 or 2 games. So I think he's a damn good quarterback, right? He's mobile. He's pretty accurate. He has a decent arm. Damn bugs. Um, I mean, it just depends on who's in front of him. I think he's definitely going to be an NFL quarterback. It just it depends. Like some of his decision making, some of his interceptions are questionable, but that's all that's all with experience. That's all knowing defenses. That's all being in your playbook, and a lot of that can be taught. So I think he has all the tangibles to be an NFL quarterback, definitely. But draft him again. It depends. And this year, the next year, there might be 10 quarterbacks off the board in the first round. I mean, there's some crazy good quarterbacks in the NFL, in college football right now, and a lot of them showed out. What else we got? Pretty sure Philly will win the Super Bowl again this year. I got a feeling we're gonna dog walk the Pats on Sunday. Man, I'm glad you do. I'm glad you do. I'm gonna stop with no. I'm glad you do, man. Like when I did my predictions at 12-5, right? I looked at all these teams. I looked at their draft picks. I waited till the draft was over. I waited till everybody got most of their cuts and all that before I did my predictions. And I thought a lot of these teams would struggle way more than they've shown in the preseason. And like I said, I'm going to stand on my prediction, but I said a lot would have to happen. A lot more is going to have to happen because a lot of these teams got really, really, really good. Like, I wasn't expecting Patriots, Trayvon Henderson. I said he was the best all-around back in this draft. I said it many, many times on my lives. Ashton Genty is a dog, but if you want an all-around blocker, passer, guy that can play special teams, guy that can do everything at the running back position, it was Trayvon Henderson. So they have Jackson over there. They have, 3 solid running backs. And they have a quarterback that's going to test the hell out of our weakness. Our weakness right now is the corners. So for us to dog walk them, our defense has to be lights out, create turnovers, at least 2 minimum. I'm going to say 2. If we don't have at least 2 turnovers on defense, there's going to be no dog walking. It's going to be a battle. As much as I hate to say it, Dick Daniels is going to have that shitty Raiders taste in his mouth, and I hope he has it for the rest of his life, to be honest. But he's going to be looking for revenge, right? He didn't get a chance to do what he wanted, which, thank God for Raider Nation. He already set us back 3 or 4 years. He set the Broncos back 3 or 4 years. He set the Colts back a couple years by bailing on them. So, he's a damn good coordinator. He's a damn good offensive coordinator. And when you give him a quarterback like Trevon, like Drake May, who I think was one of the best quarterbacks in this draft class, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. And when our weakest link is our corners, until they can prove that, that they can hang with these guys, that they can cover guys, that they know the system, it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be a dog walk. I thought the Patriots game really, like you said, was we were going to come in and stomp, right? It was going to be like, 31 to 17 or something. I thought it was going to be one of those kind of games. But after watching them in the preseason, after watching the Raiders in the preseason, I just don't see it being like that. I just don't. we have a lot of work to do. Gino is not in touch with the receivers. He's thrown 3 passes to Brock Bowers in the game in preseason. Wait, 2 passes. I think 2 passes to Brock Bowers. So, yes, he's thrown a lot of balls to Brock Bowers, but in the preseason, man, they have no connection. He has no connection with Jacoby Meyers in the preseason. He's thrown 1 ball to Trey Tucker. He's thrown 3 balls to Dante Thornton, the rookie. I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought we were going to start out hot, but with the problems we've had at the offensive line, JPJ looks like he's all up in his feelings about being moved to guard and not being the center. I think there's some problems there. I think we have a little bit of questions that are a little bit concerning for me. Raiders corners, yeah, they have a lot on their shoulders, man. I think this defensive line, Raiders think go birds. What kind of birds? Eagles? Cardinals? What kind of birds, bro? Falcons? What kind of bird we talking? Why did the Packers have a bye week 1? Do they really? I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's talk about that. That's shitty, bro. That's shitty. There should be some kind of law where you shouldn't even get a bye week until at least week 5, because the teams that get bye weeks before that, man, that's rough, bro. That's rough. You have a 17-game season to have all this build-up, all this practice. You know, Rick Whitson was good. Grimm was good. Appreciate everybody in the building. Douglas Taylor, if I missed y'all, I promise. I'm sorry. That's rough, bro. To be waiting for football to start, right? As much as we are, don't think that these players aren't way more hungrier than us, right? They've been trading their asses off. They've been grinding to the core. They've been putting in, you know, everything they can put in. They're waiting for the season to start, and then you find out, oh damn, you get the first week off. Like, that's rough, bro. That's rough. And then you got to play 16 games in a row. I feel bad for the Packers. I did not know that, but that's horrible, bro. Absolutely horrible. Graham, what's good? Don't be sorry, man. I appreciate you. Damn, member gone. I trust our linebackers and safeties helping out the young corners. Let's talk about that. A lot of people have a lot of faith in... Sorry, I was trying to see what happened over there. A lot of people have faith in Isaiah Palamau. Now, I like Isaiah Palamau, but him being in charge, him being, you know, the guy out there calling plays, putting guys in position, he showed that a little bit last year, but he's only started in 14 games in the NFL. It's not like this defense is easy to learn, because if it was, the defense would be farther ahead than the offense. The offense is a very hard system to learn, you know, from what I've seen, what I've heard, and what I've talked about. They're running as many as 3 to 6 or 7 plays at a 1 formation. So that's a lot for the offense. And the offense just looks ahead, a lot more ahead than the defense. So there's a lot of questions. You know, maybe they're sleeping in preseason. Maybe they were told, you know, go 80%. Don't go 100%. We don't want no people to know what we got. I don't see that happening. I just think we're not very good on defense, and it's going to take some time, man. It's going to take some time. So the linebackers are all older. They're veterans. That's going to help. But being older, being veterans, you lose a step, right? You lose a little bit of speed. That's going to be a problem. If these guys don't know, you know, when to cover these guys are to be in the right position, right? Because they're young, or they haven't seen a formation before, right? Or they haven't seen a certain route run out of a formation. They didn't see it on film. They didn't study for it. That's when big plays happen. So safety-wise, Jeremy Chin, he really hasn't had too many, you know, I guess you can call him a vet, but he's not like an older guy, right? He's kind of a younger guy also. He's going to, I believe, play more in the box. that leaves, the backfield a lot more open. Is it going to be a guy like Travis? Or not Travis Taylor? He got. Is it going to be a guy like Chris Sims back there? Who's it going to be back there? Are one of these safeties that they brought in off the practice squad going to step up? Right away? Is it going to take them time to learn the system? It's a problem. There's a lot of questions, man. There's a lot of questions, but I hope the experience at linebacker can help these young guys, put them in the right spot. But I feel like we have a lot of press corners that we should play a lot more press coverage, and I don't. It's just not Patrick Graham's MO, right? He likes to play guys 15 yards off. You're going to get beat no matter who you are. I don't care if you run a 4.2 40 like Deion Sanders. If you're playing 10 to 15 yards off every single play, you're giving up 10 to 15 yards, right? I mean, just if you're 15 yards back and your receiver's starting and they hike the ball, you're giving up at least 7.5, right? If you're both the same speed. And if you give up 7.5 yards of passing play, you're going to get walked down the field. You're going to get dog walked down the field. And that's what we've done. That's what our defense has done. It's been, a bend, don't break type defense. But we always break. In preseason, it seemed like we didn't break as much, right? We held a lot of teams to field goals, which is a good sign. We tightened up, when we needed to. But I'm not a fan of letting people, walk down the field, in my opinion. It'd be good if we didn't, since they lost there at Munford. Yeah, but if they bring in one of these guys, they're going to have to cut somebody else. Who are they cutting? Who are they willing to let go? And maybe that's the problem. Maybe they have, Miami driving down again. Maybe they have more faith than some of us and some of these guys. So, did I miss a super chat somewhere? I think it says $7. Hold up. I think I missed the super chat. Why does this say $7? That's weird. Did he lose the ball? Man, touchdown Miami. Okay. Carson Beck. Carson Beck. I mean, if he keeps playing like this, like you said, Grim, GeoMex, all the talk, of him being a first-round pick this year, and then he decided to stay in school because he got hurt and didn't want to be at the bottom of the rankings. Look good, man. They're looking good. Miami Hurricanes haven't looked this good since they had Michael Irvin. Right? What we got? Carroll, Gino, Rabel, May, Johnson, Caleb, Callahan, Lawrence. Raiders win these games. I'm skeptical about the Geno Drake May. Drake May might be better than Geno Smith. Experience, no. But balls wise, right? Mobility wise, I don't know. Johnson and Caleb. The Chicago Bears looked really, 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 really good, man. Really good. The Bears, if we can make Caleb run around and, take sacks and make mistakes, then yes. Callahan and Lawrence, I think we got that. Is Callahan the coach there? Schottenheimer and Prescott. The Cowboys game looks much, much better, bro. Not having one of the best pass rushers in all of the planet and Micah Parsons running at your quarterback makes this game so much better for the Raiders. I really like our chances. Um, so yeah, I think I don't know. I don't know. We'll break it down tomorrow. I won't be on the phone. I will be on the computer. We will do Monday night scrutiny. Today we were supposed to do Sunday spotlight. So I mean, we can spotlight it right now. My spotlight is going to be Eric Stokes. I think Eric Stokes is the biggest question we have right now. Is he going to be the Eric Stokes that got benched in Green Bay? Is he going to be the Eric Stokes that only played 17 games once in his career? The Eric Stokes that was, drafted in the first round and got hurt. The Eric Stokes that hasn't played every season. We don't know what Eric Stokes we're going to get. I hope and pray to God we get the best Eric Stokes we've ever seen. But from what I've seen in preseason, that's a problem. That's going to be a problem. It's going to be a big problem until, maybe he trusts the safeties behind him. But we could also be running a lot of nickel, a lot of, sky three zone coverage. It depends. Drew, I like Drew Alar. I think if he would have came out last year, he probably would have been a number one pick over, over Cam Ward, over all those guys, I thought. And he's only going to get better, man. He's only going to get better. He's got a damn good team. He's got a good running game over there. And, 6'5", 225 or something. Drew Alar's a dog, man. He's a dog. What else we got? Raiders should have got Jackson Dart. Mike Ross, 1,000%. 1,000%. I would have taken Jackson Dart at 6. I said it. People called me crazy, and I'll stand on it still to this day. Jackson Dart would have been worth taking at 6, and I hope he proves that. If he doesn't, whatever. But for the way he looked in preseason compared to a lot of other quarterbacks, he looks like, he's already ready. And, some people gave me shit for comparing him to Josh Allen. I think he has that Josh Allen mentality in him. He's not afraid to dive over people for first downs, right? He's not afraid to try to run people over. He's not going to slide every single play. He's very mobile. He knows, he's got a good internal clock. He has a pretty solid arm. And in the NFL, and the right nutrition and the right, the right trainers, you're going to build muscle. You're going to get stronger. He's very, very young, so his arm's just going to get stronger over time, I feel. And, yeah, Jackson Dart, man, would have been a damn good pickup for the Raiders. I would have been happy taking Jackson Dart at 6. I would have been happy trading back and picking him. I would have been happy either way getting him. I also would have been happy with, player that went to Denver. But it is what it is, man. I don't get to pick the draft picks, but so far, for the last 4 years, everybody that I've wanted to draft on the Raiders have all had all-pro years and just get better and better and better and better. Maybe one day I'll break down all the picks, but it really doesn't matter. Nah, bro, by week 1 is insane. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't even be a part. They're going to be good, but needs to develop more. And what better guy to develop under than Jameis Winston, who's been bounced around the NFL, right? He's a guy that's thrown 30 touchdowns in one season, but also threw 30 interceptions. He's a guy that's seen pretty much every defense. Then you have a guy like Russell Wilson, who's been to a Super Bowl, who's won a Super Bowl, who took the starting job his rookie year. So he's probably looking over his shoulder going, damn, Pete Carroll, good thing it's not a Pete Carroll team because Jackson Dart may be starting. And, you got Brian DeBall over there, who's a damn good coach in my opinion. He's a damn good quarterback coach in my opinion also. So I feel like he's going to, there's no reason to rush it. You got 2 veteran quarterbacks in front of him. Let them sit, right? Let him hold the clipboard on the sideline and let him learn. And if he has to be thrown in there. I mean, he is a first-round pick. They did trade a lot of assets to move back up into the first round to get a Jackson Dart. So, yeah, I agree 100%. He definitely needs to develop, and there's no reason to rush it. Jimmy, just a heads up. I'm heading to the Seahawks game. I got free tickets. What? Sweet. I think somebody just got sacked. Yeah, Dark gonna be a good one. I believe so, man. I believe so. He has, if y'all didn't watch it, Barstool Sports, go watch John Gruden on Barstool Sports. The interview that he had with them. They go over some plays. They, call some plays on the board, and they go out and throw some passes. Jackson Dart is him, bro. He's him. He's got that mentality. He's a little bit flashy, but not over flashy. He's confident, but not arrogant, right? And again, he's got that mobility. Not the fastest guy, but he's crafty. He's kind of like a Patrick Mahomes in that sense, where he's got that body contortion. He knows how to wiggle, how to get away from defenders, how to get out of people's grasp. He's gonna be good, man. He's gonna be good. Probably just play a sorry team. It can't be soon enough. God, no, it can't. Oh, there it is. I just hope we show a better game throughout the season. I think the preseason was, kind of one of those sleeper things, right? They don't want to show everything. They're not going to show their offense. They're not going to show who their number one targets are. And we already know, right? Brock Bowers is number one. Ashton Genty is number two. And everybody else fall in line. And if you don't feel that's the way the Raiders season is going to go, come talk to me at the end of the year. It's pretty much written in stone, bro. Like this tattoo is unremovable. It's already written in ink. I feel that's the way it's going to go. Brock Bowers, option number one. If he's not open, Jacoby Meyers are the next option. But most of the time it's going to be Ashton Genty pounding the rock down people's throats. And if he can't run the ball, if he has a problem, if he struggles his rookie year, man, I hope Raheem Mostert and Zamir White can step up behind him, because the way he lowers his shoulder, the way he takes hits already in preseason, that shit isn't going to keep happening in the NFL. You can't take abuse like that as a rookie. I don't care how strong you are, whether you're the Silver Surfer or not. You don't have a silver, coated suit on, bro. Like, you're a 6th-round pick. We need him for the season. Somebody's got to tell him to stop doing that shit. I'd much rather see him jump over people and get hit in the air than to constantly lower his shoulder and make my heart stop every time he does that shit. So, Raider fans sent you a Super Rebel. I read it, didn't I? Raider fan for life. Shout out for the $5. I read it. Appreciate you keeping the lights on in the building. Any Raider news? And Raider camp still 5-12. What? There's no 5-12, bro. Daniel Berry Sports, what's good? What's good, man? Happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to you. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you. Hey, no problem, man. No problem. I always try to show support for, all the content creators. Yeah, we got to get the best out of Stokes. I mean, because he hasn't had a best, right? as far as his NFL career goes, he hasn't had that moment, right? He hasn't had a good, solid, 17 games. He hasn't even had a good, solid 8 games. So it's a big question. It's a big question. Oh, by the way, Raiders Zone release, my merch will be here in a couple days. Shout out. Yes. I appreciate it. Appreciate you letting me know. Make sure you take a picture, send it to me so I can post it on my shit. Let me know how it fits. Let me know what it looks like. And also, man, if y'all haven't already, go check out the merch. The shirts, I will say, I know for a fact, it's not like this Raider shirt, right? It's not all hard and crispy over the top. It's ink embedded into the fabric, and it lasts a long, long time. The shirt I got a year ago from this company, that I tested it out, I've washed pretty much twice a week because I wear it a lot. But I washed it pretty much once or twice a week for the last year. It still looks like the day I bought it, man. The shirt's faded, but the ink and shit on it is it's top notch. So, let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Again, let me know how it feels. Let me know if you're happy. If not, I don't know what to tell you. I'll just, but yeah, definitely send me a pic, man. I appreciate it. Carson Beck's face looks like a serial killer, like Matt Schaub did. That's funny as hell. What does a serial killer's face look like? Is there like a specific look? Like, Beck is gonna be, he's gonna be good if he gets up. Oh, that's not him on the ground. This offensive lineman just got cooked. Yeah, he's damn good. Don't forget Dylan Labe. I'm not forgetting Dylan Labe. I just don't know how many carries Dylan Labe gets this year, unless somebody gets hurt. I have a feeling he's going to get some, some wheel routes, maybe some drag routes, maybe, a couple hinge routes. But other than that, I don't know. I can remember where I read it, but they did say something today about a high school kid that was being in a helicopter off the football field for getting hit too many times during the game. That's not good. That's not good. I don't know who you're talking to, bro. I don't know who you're talking to, Gyro, Junior Gyro, Junior Cairo, whatever your name is. So, yeah, man, what else is going on in the news? What else is going on in the news? Michael Parsons, like, with the Packers is going to be insane. I don't know what's going on with the rest of my Raiders over there. I think Nate Hobbs is injured, I do believe, but, man, him and Nate Hobbs is going to be nasty together. Nasty. I don't know where he's talking because it's not, you're not his lover. This dude is weird. You know it's your lover. Don't even start it, bro. Don't even start it. That's your lover. He's been watching you. He's been watching you. Oh. Alright, so at this. Man, who thought Notre Dame was gonna win this game? And what do y'all think about the upsets this week, man? Texas, right? We ain't even talked about that. So many Raider fans. I'm so sick of hearing Raider fans talk about the Raiders are waiting for Arch Manning. The Raiders are waiting for Arch Manning. The Raiders should wait for Arch Manning. Where are all these Raider fans? Where are all y'all at? Where are all y'all at? The ones that say Aiden O'Connell sucks. Wait for Arch Manning. Where are you? Where are you now? Because that game was absolutely horrible. I don't want to hear that shit. It was his first game in college football. I don't want to hear none of that shit. It was bad, bro. It was bad. When you're throwing passes into the dirt, when you're not showing your mobility that we all know he has, like he showed one good play where he got away, tiptoed down the sideline. But it was bad, bro. He had a ridiculous game, and I don't care what anybody says. That game was horrible. It was horrible. There's been almost as much talk about Archie Manning, Arch Manning, not Archie, Arch Manning being a Raider as there was Shador talk. And I think it's nonsense. I don't think either one of those have ever been on the Raiders' radar. But yeah, it's funny to me. I'm one of them. I was on the Arch Manning bandwagon. Oh shit. See, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. Like I said over and over and over again, if this dude comes out, if he comes out of college this year, I'd probably quit YouTube because that'd be the worst take I've ever had in my life. But I just don't see this dude coming out of college this year, next year. His parents and his grandfather even came out and said they don't care about the NFL, right? They don't care where he's drafted, where he goes. They're worried about the young man's education. They want him to get an education. They want him to graduate college. So if that's the case, then yeah, 3 or 4 years down the road, Arch Manning, could be his father. Could be like his uncle. But let's not forget, Peyton Manning, his first year in the NFL, right? Didn't he have like 25 touchdowns and 28 interceptions or some shit. Something absolutely crazily bad. So, but this kid had a horrible game against a top Ohio State team, and it looked bad. It looked absolutely bad. So we just have to pump the brakes as football fans or Raider fans or any fans of thinking kids, because of their name, like Shador Sanders or Manning or, any of these other quarterbacks, are going to be their parents. It's just very unlikely. Not too many times in the NFL, and I can't think of many times in the NFL where, there was a father that was a Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer, and then their son continued in their tracks. And if there is one, somebody please find them and let me know, because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. And I could be wrong. Maybe there is one. But the Arch Manning game was bad, bro. He was way worse than Aiden O'Connell could have ever been at Purdue. And I know he's going to bounce back. Hopefully, right? Because he is a Manning. He does have a strong-ass arm. But what did you do the offseason, bro? What did he do the offseason? He looked way better as a redshirt freshman when he came in. The reason that Carson Beck, I believe, went to Miami was because of him. And then Texas didn't even lose in the standings, bro. They're still number one as far as I've seen, which I think comes out tomorrow. But if they're still number one, that's going to be crazy. Bring back Garoppolo and McDaniels? Why? What? Stop playing with that. I feel like we're going to have Geno for at least 2 years, possibly more if he does well. Well, Geno, there's bugs everywhere. Geno is on a 3-year contract, but only 2 of those years are guaranteed, right? His guaranteed money is for the first 2 years, and after that, the Raiders have everything written in his clause that they can get out of it, way early. Leaky, what's good? Appreciate you. So, same with the Max Crosby deal. He's only got 2 years on his contract also. People say we couldn't afford, Micah Parsons. It would have been a stupid move. I disagree. Micah Parsons would have been the greatest move the Raiders could have made. Because if he continued to outplay Max Crosby like he's done his career so far, then, maybe in 2 years, you don't have to pay Max so much. Or maybe you trade him and get 2 first-round picks. I think the Micah Parsons deal could have worked out really, really good for us. I would have given up the 2 first rounds. I know a lot of people say no. Yeah, we got Brock Bowers. Yeah, we got Ashton Genty the last 2 years. But a Micah Parsons, man, is just crazy. It's one of the best defensive ends to ever step on the grass already in his career. His numbers in his career are absolutely ridiculous. Double-digit sacks every year. You can't say that for the guy we're paying $36 million a season for, right? So, to me, that would have been crazy, bro. Would have been absolutely crazy. But Geno's contract is 2 years, and we can get out of it. Let's also be real, because that's what we do on this channel. Geno might not be the quarterback at the end of the season. I mean, let's be honest. If Kenny Pickett can play like he did his rookie year, he's pretty solid, man. He's pretty solid. He's mobile. He's durable. He's tough as hell. I've seen that dude get smacked where I thought, oh my God, his soul just left his body. He's not getting up. And he got up talking shit. Talking shit, pointing at the dude. So, Kenny Pickett is a dog. He's got that dog in him. Now, if you look at his interceptions, the touchdown ratio, 15 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, not very good. But if you look at the weapons, because I talked a lot of shit when we signed him and traded for a 5th-round pick. But if you look at the weapons he's had since he was in Pittsburgh, there's not a lot. There's not a lot, right? He didn't really have a lot of weapons. He had one, and not all the time. So for a guy like Kenny Pickett and Geno Smith, same thing, to come in and have Brock Bowers, to have Jacoby Meyers who doesn't drop passes, and then you bring in a guy like Cooper, and I've heard all the talks about Cooper being out of shape. He's not going to help the Raiders. the fuck out of here with that. He's going to help the Raiders. He's going to help the Raiders. Whether it's in the red zone, whether it's in the end zone, whether it's stretching the field and not even throw it to him, right? Just causing a double team, just making the safety look that way. It doesn't have to be production all the time, right? You don't have to have 100 catches and 1,000 yards to be productive in the NFL. A lot of people think you do, but you can help. Oh, damn! Hurdling for the first down. Okay, I see you over there. So you don't always have to be numbers to contribute, right? If you look at the New England Patriots and all the Super Bowls they won over the years, they had a lot of guys contributing on their team, right? Lots and lots of people contributed. It didn't have huge numbers, but they were a big part of that defense. They were a big part of the offense, right? They made plays when they were called upon. And I think we got a lot of guys that can do that. I think we have a lot. But if you look at the fact, they say Geno's picked up this offense really quick. But so far, what I've seen in practice is I'm smoking a bowl of Girl Scout cookies. At least I remember. That is my favorite. That's fucked up. Why you even bring that up? Shout out for the $5 holler to rub it in my face that you got some Girl Scout. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up. Fag on the flag on the play. So yeah, Kenny Pickett, man. Don't count Kenny Pickett out. I've heard, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow, so make sure you pull up. I heard that the Raiders quarterback room, and shout out for the $5 holla. I'm going to hit this Puffco in a minute. But I heard some talk about the Raiders having the worst quarterback room in the NFL now because we got Kenny Pickett and we lost Aiden O'Connell. What the hell is going on? Where was all this talk when it was Geno and Aiden O'Connell and Cam Miller and everybody, saying, oh, we got a top 5 quarterback, a top 10 quarterback. Now all of a sudden, the Raiders quarterback room is the worst in the NFL. Now that we got Kenny Pickett, you know why? Because they say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. And bringing in Kenny Pickett made the Raiders have 2 quarterbacks. They have a problem now. And I think maybe that's why they waited until the season was getting ready to start, because you didn't want to see it in camp. You didn't want to see the talks that we already heard. Aiden O'Connell is looking better than Geno, which is absolutely crazy. Yes, he throws. Yes, he's accurate, but he's not mobile. It's not the same thing. So having Pickett later in this late in the season, this young freshman is impressive, bro. Oh, good Lord, upended on your head. The young freshman is impressive. Looking like Derek Carr out there. CJ Carr. But there could be a scenario where Kenny Pickett has to come in and play for the Las Vegas Raiders and doesn't look back, right? He's never had, ever in his career, even in Philly, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, he's never had a Brock Bowers. He's never even had a Michael Meyers. Never even had a Michael Mayer as tight end. You have Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, 2 of the best tight ends, I think, in the game right now. And Michael Mayer is going to prove that this year. But when you have those weapons and an Ian Thomas, or Quadre Ismail, who'd they keep? Ismail? Ian Thomas? Fuck, I don't know. But you have 3 solid tight ends to choose from. And if you go to a 12 personnel or 13 personnel over and over again, it's going to be hard to stop with Ashton Genty back there. If you run 13 personnel with guys like Ashton Genty, Raheem Mostert, sorry, I'm trying to watch this, even Dylan Labe back there, Arzamir White. Oh, and the freshman's going to take it himself. First down and leveled. Okay, I see you, CJ. I see you, CJ Carr. But yeah, man, so, if Kenny Pickett gets in the game, he can still spin the ball. He's got a solid-ass arm. Decision-making, but we already see Pete Carroll over there showing him love, right? Talking about his gloves. Maybe he takes one off and does the Michael Jackson thing. I don't know. Maybe he takes both gloves off. Maybe he keeps some slippery-ass gloves on. Oh, stuffed at the goal line. Miami's defense is hard, bro. They're going hard today. But Kenny Pickett could be a problem for some teams, right? Could be a problem. You got a Dante Thornton that can stretch the field. You got Cooper back that can stretch the field. You got Trey Tucker that can stretch the field. You got a lot of weapons that can run deep with a lot of speed. So for both these quarterbacks, we're going to be a problem. We're going to be a problem for some teams. Chief Nation. There's only one nation, bro. Only one. Don't make me go get my shirt. Don't make me go get my shirt. If you would like, fuck the other 31. There's only one nation shirts. Go check it out. Go check it out. The link is somewhere. Somebody will post it. Jay the GOAT. What's good? What's good? Should have traded Bowers for Parsons if they have 3 tight ends. That's shut the man. I ain't even listening to you with that talk. What do you mean? Now maybe Michael Mayer. They could have thrown Michael Mayer. Maybe a Malcolm Kuntz. You know. Maybe one of those guys in there. Maybe a Tyree Wilson. Maybe a Jonah Lalu, since they wanted a defensive tackle instead of an end, since they got in the trade package. You could have threw a couple of those guys in there and maybe got away with 1 first-round pick. Stopped again at the goal line. Let's go, Miami Hurricanes. Love to see them back. Yeah, Bowers is a beast. If you haven't noticed, Junior, I'm ignoring you. It's so good. Whoa, why did your link turn blue? That's crazy. And how did you get to pin it? That's crazy. I didn't get to pin it. But yeah, go check it out. Go check out the merch. Raider inspired, no Raider shit. Doesn't say Raiders, just Raiders inspired. Raider inspired gear. Raiders. Glad you stopped in on your break. Appreciate you coming in and showing love. Showing love. Maybe ignore it briefly, but not once you're back. Junior likes it from the back. What are you talking about, Junior? Stop that. This is a family channel. This is Sunday, bro. What's wrong with you? Stop deleting people. He's fine, man. He ain't hurting you. He ain't hurting you. But yeah, man, so that's what we got for Raiders news. I feel like this defensive line is a sleeper. I think there's a lot of people sleeping on the fact that what these young guys can do. And I think it's going to help this defensive backfield a whole lot. And again, my spotlight is Eric Stokes, man. That is the biggest question. So Eric Stokes, if you're watching this season relies on you, man. We have 3 people battling for the other spot. You're the only one on that side that's got any looks all off season. So, man, I hope Pete Carroll knows what he's doing, which he has. But there's a reason he got fired from Seattle, right? We don't know what that reason is. Maybe it's because of, them old school ways. Maybe it's because teams have caught on to, what they were trying to do over there. Could be a lot of things. Maybe just because they got a damn good head coach in Mike McDonald who, seems to be a dog over there. So, I don't know. But it just seems skeptical to me that they let Pete Carroll go. They let Geno go for a 3rd-round pick when everybody has them up there on this pedestal. And 7 days away, we will find out. And I hope to God I'm wrong. But I feel very confident with Kenny Pickett back there. It's going to take them time to pick up the offense. They're going to have to dumb it down and make it stupid if anything does happen. I think our offensive line depth is very, very weak. I think we're relying on guys like Caleb Rogers. We're relying on guys like Charles Grant to come in and be these guys and be these guys to, step in and play in a season, drafted in the 3rd round. I think that's a lot of pressure on Charles Grant. I think that's a lot of pressure on Caleb Rogers. And I don't know, who we have. Alex Kappa. I'm not comfortable with that. Center wise, I'm not not really happy with Will Putnam having to start. I think he's definitely a guy that has a lot of upside. He has that dog mentality, but he's got to stop with the penalties, right? He's still got to learn the new system. So it's gonna be a lot, man. Yeah, we made him kick rocks. Probably just wait until next year's draft to take CBs. Horror Fanatic, what's good? Why they didn't make moves on defense? If you think they will win this year, they made a lot of moves on defense. What do you mean? It just wasn't the moves that I expected. Hold on. It just wasn't the moves that I had expected. Fuck did my drink go? All right. No wonder my back hurts, bro. Sitting up on this shit. The Raiders made a lot of moves, right? They made a whole lot of moves on defense. Our whole defensive backfield, besides Isaiah Palmau, is completely different. The only linebackers we have that are the same. Wow. It's Tommy Eichenberg, bro. Tommy Eichenberg is the only remaining linebacker that we have. Am I right on that? Where's my laptop? Where's my tablet? That's wild, bro. So we got rid of all of our linebackers. We completely revamped the defensive backfield. We have Isaiah Palomau. We have DeCamarion Richardson and Kai Blue Kelly. I believe that's it. The rest of the guys are all new guys that, are supposed to come in and do something and change this team, change the culture, right? So they made moves. They made moves on defense. I think Eric Stokes brings us, that hard-hitting guy that can play in the box, that can play linebacker, kind of like Jamal Adams. We have a lot of versatility. But that versatility still has to be proven, right? Like, you have to prove that you can cover and tackle and stop the run. And until the Raiders do that week one, man, if they can't do it against the Patriots team that's going to run the hell out of the ball, they're going to be physical. They're going to be definitely a Mike Vrabel team. They're going to be tough. They're going to be violent. They're going to be physical. They're going to be smash mouth, right? They have questions on the offensive line. We have one of the best defensive lines, I believe, out there. A lot of young and upcoming guys, but if Malcolm Kuntz is anywhere close to what he was, and hopefully he just turns it on when the season starts, but if he's anywhere close to what he was before, we have a solid defensive line. And if we can get pressure on the quarterback, that changes everything, right? Look at Aiden O'Connell. Look at Gardner Minshew. They ran for their lives last year. They couldn't do nothing. When you're constantly running for your life or, having to hold the ball and eat a sack because you can't even throw it away, it's a problem. It's a problem for offenses. And I feel the Raiders defense up front, their front seven can be that. I think we're better at stopping the run, although we didn't show it against the Cardinals last game, but they ran for 228 yards on us. A lot of that was in the third and fourth quarter. A lot of those guys aren't on the team anymore, right? So I've seen a lot of upside from the first team defense when they were out there. Max Crosby looks like he was in the backfield every single play. Tyree Wilson looked like he was in the backfield almost every single play. So, there's a lot of good things. But there's still a lot of questions. I think I'm going to Indianapolis game this year. Let's go. I think I'm going to Indy too. Oh, holding on the offense. Damn. But I did see, like I said, I seen some good signs, man. I seen the Raiders didn't get a lot of penalties. We had some stupid mistakes, but they were from a lot of young guys. Let's stand up here for a minute. And a lot of those guys that were hurting us in preseason, aren't there. I think they got rid of a lot of the problems. Hopefully, Raiders. I hope we're really good against the run. We're bad against the pass, and run is going to be a long, long season. That's an understatement, right? We already know if you can't stop the run and you can't stop the pass, it's going to be a long season. But there was a team out there back in the day, right, that had Kurt Warner on it, that didn't have the greatest defense, but they put up 30, 40 points a game. And they beat every team by, 7, 3, 21 sometimes. And I feel like we could have the greatest show on turf, man. I think a lot of people underestimate Jacoby Meyers. Obviously, they do. Remind me to talk about Jacoby Meyers before I leave, because there's some shit I got to say. But a lot of people are underestimating this receiving core. Like, Jack Besh is a dog, bro. He's a guy that's not going to drop a lot of passes. He don't need to create much separation because he's physical, right? He can win the 50-50 balls. And it just comes down to protection. If we stay healthy on the offensive line, if we have protection, there's a lot of targets. There's a lot of targets. Do you have time to go through your progressions? Hopefully. Gio, wrong team, bro. No, you're in the wrong place. That's not the wrong team. You're in the wrong chat, bro. Bueno, what's good? Good to see you. Appreciate you popping back in the building. You've been a Raider fan for longer than me? Damn, that's old. We have the best duo in Genty and Zamir, and we will prove it. We are top dogs too. And I think that's another thing, man. Good, I think that's a huge news thing is if Zamir White can continue to be that dog. Oh my God, my back, bro. I'm gonna have to stand up and do this live in a minute. If Zamir White can, prove like he was running the ball in the preseason, getting positive yards every time he touched the ball instead of negative yards, it's going to be huge for us, man. It's going to be huge. And don't forget Raheem Mostert. Like, he didn't touch the ball very much in preseason, but when he did, it was productive, catching out of the backfield, right? And I think there's a reason. I think there's a huge, huge reason why Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly did not play the starters more than 3 snaps every single game, right? We're going to surprise some teams from the jump. We're going to surprise some teams. We're going to surprise some teams with the long ball. We're going to surprise some shit out of teams the way we're physical and can run the ball. I don't think teams are prepared for what they're going to get, right? If they're going off what they've seen in preseason, the first 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I think we're going to surprise the shit out of some people. I really do. I really do. I'm good. Just been getting work done on my house. And now I've been missing out. Glad to be back. Are you good, man? I've been off and on. I think I've only been live, twice in the last week. So you're not missing much. I have no faith in Zeus till I see him good in a game that's not preseason. That's totally respectable. That's totally respectable from what he did last year. It's shout out again for the $5 holler. Thank you for seeing through. I know you're uncomfortable. No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, and I keep moving around like I'm like a damn tweaker over here. But it's all good. It's all good. I miss the family, man. I got to be back talking with my people. It takes the pain away. It takes some of the pain away. But man, I feel you. I feel you though, right? Zeus has a lot to prove, and from what we've heard in practice, Pete Carroll's talked about a lot of guys that has impressed him that we didn't see impress us in the preseason, right? Ooh, that's gonna be loud. Police helicopter, ghetto bird in Arkansas. What? Um, so yeah, I think right off the jump, man, I think we're gonna be a sleeper. We're gonna surprise some people. And Zamir, I don't know how many carries he gets, right? I don't, is he number 2? Is he number 3? Are they just playing games and acting like, Raheem Mostert isn't that number 2 guy so they can sneak up on some teams? That's another big question I have. But I think in this, in a gap system, Zamir White looked really good, right? His vision looked better, and yes, it was preseason, but his vision looked better. His first step looked better, right? I seen him cut a couple times. That jump cut that we didn't see at all last year. Not one time did he make a jump cut. So I think his hip's better. It looks like he's 100% healthy, and man, I hope so. I hope so. Raiders start the season 2-0. Believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a hell of a battle week 1. I think we're going to surprise the shit out of the Chargers week 2. Coming off a game playing out of the country, I think it's going to be a problem. They get a lot of time. Whoa, what the hell was that? You just put a shit emoji on my screen? The fuck? What happened? 1-4 before the bye at least. You want to bet on that, Junior Cairo? You know you don't. You know you don't. Right? Simpleton in the building. I know you're uncomfortable, and that's fair that you ain't lying. It's all good, man. It's all good. The hell he's looking for me? I thought he was for a minute the way he started flying over. I was like, damn. I try to keep my location discreet so they can't find me, but, I mean, you never know. Being on live all the time, they might just pin in on my location. I don't know. That's why I keep looking around. I'm waiting for the Yellow Jackets to come out. What? At least I don't like a no bueno team. Oh, that was kind of good one. This team is very bueno, bro. What are you talking about? I would line all 3 of them up on the line with Brock Bowers on the goal line. Can't stop them. If you're talking about the tight ends and I'm that far behind, holy shit, I got a long way to go. Yeah, you can't stop these tight ends, bro. And they're athletic, they're strong, they're physical. And if you're running 13 personnel with Ashton Genty in the backfield, good luck, bro. Good luck being a defender. That's all I got to say. Because you have 8 offensive linemen. 8 offensive linemen. Come on, bro. Like, on the line of scrimmage, if you can't run the ball with Ashton Genty, and I've seen him make cuts and get outside and go and turn on that burst that people don't think he has. So, yeah, it's gonna be wild, bro. Even 12 personnel, I can't wait. Right? Nobody gives a shit about the Queefs, bro. Raiders. Kenny missing a special appearance. She misses her boyfriend. Looks good, but I don't know if those hundreds are pretty cool. I still think they should spend some of that money they are sitting in, bring in one of the good players, pay Jacoby, one of the others. I don't know, man. I don't know. I said it before, and I'm going to keep saying it. I don't know where Jacoby stands, right? And good thing you brought that up because I said I was going to talk about Jacoby. So, I think Jacoby Meyers got a huge wake-up call. I think his agent got a smack in the face, right? You know, from what I hear, they're wanting somewhere like 20 to 30 mil a season. If you look at the 15 to 20 receivers in front of Jacoby Meyers, he's not worth that. If you look at the phone calls the Raiders received when they said, okay, let's see what we can get, call around, put him on the trading block, they got one phone call. One phone call. And that team wanted them to pay half of his $14 million salary next year. So, that's got to be a wake-up call for Jacoby Meyers, right? That says there is no market for a receiver that caught, 100 passes and had 1,000 yards for the first time in his 6-year career, or what, 6 years, 5 years, however long he's been in the NFL. That proves there's no market for Jacoby Meyers. So the Raiders kind of have a decision to make. If nobody else wants him, you know what he's worth. You know what he's done for this team, what he can do for this team. He's a hard hat guy. He's going to, do all the dirty work and all that shit. But do they really pay him? Do they really pay him? Or do they try to go get another receiver next year, right? Or, early in the draft, because they drafted 2 this year. I just don't see them keeping them around more than, a year or 2. After 2 years, when Geno's contract's up, when Brock Bowers' contract will be time, that 5th-year option, right? In 2 years, a lot of shit's gonna happen. Max Crosby's contract's up again, right? You're gonna have Max Crosby playing for no guaranteed money. So I don't know if they keep Jacoby Meyers, bro. Maybe a 1-year deal just to pay him that guaranteed money so he's happy for the season, and they tell him, look, we're not planning on keeping you. I just don't see a scenario right now where Jacoby Meyers is a Raider next year. I don't. I really don't. Now, I could be wrong, but the way negotiations went, if they really felt like he was that guy and they were going to keep him around and there was value in Jacoby Meyers, him wanting to be traded and requesting to be traded, shown there's no value for him out there, right? Nobody's willing to take a risk on Jacoby right now. So I think it was a wake-up call for him. I think it was a wake-up call for his agent. And there still hasn't been a deal made. So there's got to be something going on there, right? He wants more money. He wants a long-term deal, whatever it is. I just don't see it getting done. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just see it where it's one of those situations where you have a lot of good young guys, right? They kept Cedric Jackson, who Cedric Jackson, is a young guy that shows he can stretch the field. He was our leading receiver in the preseason, right? He could be one of those guys that, he was sure-handed in the preseason. And again, you're going against 2s and 3s out there with the 3rd and 2nd, 4th unit. But to me, I don't know, man. I don't know. One good thing about the Raiders is Bowers. But watching him come to the Chiefs to fill in for Kelsey, Bowers isn't going to the Chiefs to fill in for Kelsey. Bowers is already better than Kelsey. He's the best tight end in the NFL. He's not going anywhere. The Raiders are going to pay him. He is the franchise. He is the future. He will be the face of the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry, Max Crosby, but your time as being the face of the Las Vegas Raiders is coming to an end. I guarantee you in the next 2 years, Brock Bowers is going to be the face of the Raiders. He will be on every billboard. He will be on every commercial. He will be talked about on everything. Everything. You stay healthy. Horror fan, it's all good times. Next year, we consider the position to fill after the draft pick to show what we got. I agree with that. Bowers ain't going to the Chiefs. That's not going to happen. Yeah, trade Jacoby for a defender. I wouldn't be mad at that either. Golly. I wouldn't be mad at trading Jacoby for a defender at all. And people are going to kill me for this, but I would call Dallas right now and say, hey, Jacoby Meyers for Trevon Diggs, maybe a 4th round, something in that range. I mean, shit. I'm making a phone call. I think we got we got a good group, right? We got a good group that are young, right? Decamarion Richardson has upside. Kai Blue Kelly has upside. We've seen him get beat in the preseason a bunch, but there's upside there. It's how long do we have to wait for that upside to come, right? That's a lot of time, bro. It's a lot. It could be next year. It could be the year after. It could be never. So, waiting on guys that aren't really showing a lot of flash to develop because a guy that's been in the NFL 40 years says he has a hunch that these guys can be better than the Legion of Boom, to me scares me. To me scares me. And hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully they come out week one flying around, smacking people in the mouth, right? Causing turnovers, locking people down, and then, then I'll feel more comfortable. But until then, until we get to see them, the first unit out there for a whole entire game, I don't know what we got. You don't know what we got. No other content creator, no ESPN, the people in the building, nobody knows what we have until we get out there on the grass, because they didn't show anything in preseason. They should have offered him 18 or 20 mil a year. I've heard that's what kind of like the price range was. 15 to 20. He played for 11 the last 2 years. He's due 14.6 million, I do believe, at the end of this year. Next year he's due 14.6 mil. Or maybe that's this year. Yeah, I think that's just this year, right? His final year of his contract. Or he has one more year, both not guaranteed. I don't know. I got to look it up. But I heard that's the range that the Raiders want. I think Jacoby Meyers thinks he's worth more than that. And I just don't see it, man. Like I said, 1,000 yards one season when you've been in the NFL for 6 years, 5 years, it's good. It's good, right? But it's nothing special. 1,000 yards on a team where you're pretty much the number one receiver, and there's the drop off is here and there, it's nothing special. And I think the Raiders are smart enough to see that. Yes, he did good. Lover, what's the Raiders' record going to be? 11-6. Good with that. Fuck that Jacoby, in my opinion, is 18 to top 21. If not, bye Felicia. Yeah, he's definitely in there. That's what I said. Like, if you look at the top 15 receivers in the NFL, they're all making in the 30s. I just don't see him being worth that. I just don't. Like, he's not a guy that gives you a deep threat. He does have the quarterback option. He does have, the reverse option. He is physical, and he's going to give you all that aspect. But, as far as, like, crazy athletic catches or, winning 50-50 balls or running great routes where you're smoking guys till you're just wide open, that's not his game. That's not his game. And I think that's why we drafted 2 receivers this year. But he's definitely in the top 20, bro. He's definitely in the top 20. You could probably even put him in the top 15, very, very close around there. Because a lot of those guys that would be on that list are young and unproven, right? I say the Raiders trade for Tyreek Hill. I'm not trading for an alleged kid and wife beater, bro. We don't need those problems in Vegas, man. Come on. And I said alleged, but alleged is good enough for me. Look at Metcalf's money and Jacoby's. Stats were better. They were better. They were better. I'm not going to lie. They were better than Metcalf. But Metcalf has 1,000 yards almost every single season, though, right? He's a guy that's been to, the playoffs. He's a guy that's done it. Jacoby, he's been second. He's been second guy on every team he's been around until we had a mishap and Devontae Adams left, right? So for me, 1 year, Joe, just 1 year is, it's not enough, bro. It's not enough to say you're worth that kind of money. Now, Terry McLaurin was having a hard time, and I think they worked out their contract there. But Terry McLaurin was having a hard time getting the money he wanted. The dude had 1,000 yards every single year he's been in the NFL, except his rookie year. Now, to me, that's crazy talk. You pay that dude, right? Jacoby, I mean, you have to see more from him, in my opinion. To say the guy is worth $18 to $20 million, to be a guy that's going to get, maybe 50 to 70 targets a season, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Junior is crazy. He is wild as fuck. Trixie Blue, what it do? It is almost that time. We are 7 days away. 7 days away. Hold up, I gotta hit this. Stretching my back. Metcalf got 66 catches, 992 for 5 touchdowns, and I'm sure he didn't have 0 drops, and was just signed for $30 million for 5 years. Yeah, but they're looking at the fact that Geno Smith had 15 interceptions. They're looking at the fact that he's done it every single year, like I said, consistently, right? Jacoby has not yet. He had one good year, one good breakout year. And yes, he had Aiden O'Connell and Garbage Minshew throwing him the ball. So, there's that. The Raiders won't keep them in the games, but offense might be top 10. Their offense should be top 10. It really should. If Geno is that, 73% accuracy quarterback that they say, the Raiders should have no problem being a top 10 offense. And we're going to have to win a lot of games by, outscoring the other team. I said to be 12-5. 12-5, that's the Chief records. Wrong team, but glad you see that. Tyreek don't have much long left. Nah, Tyreek's washed, bro. Yeah, my boy wouldn't burn a lot of people. That's the brick wall Metcalf on the field. I mean, the dude's a dog, bro. We should trade for Sauce Gardner. I'm 100% for that. 100% for that. Trade him right now. I've heard the talks about Jacoby Meyers, possibly being on the trade market to the Jets. And I think that would, I don't think Sauce Gardner would be in that conversation, but damn, bro, I would definitely. I think he is worth 20, and he's only making 11. If they gave him mil 2 this year, is likely the other year at max. It might at least keep him happy for 1 year. I mean, I can see that. I think he's worth, the fact that Jacoby Meyers has played for the last 2 years at $11 million is ludicrous, bro. It's ludicrous. Like, the man is worth way more than that. So the Raiders should make up for those shitty years. But, his agent worked the contract. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler got one over on him, right? They got him to sign a contract that was, way undervalued in my opinion. But this is a cutthroat business, right? It's not the Raiders' fault that he signed that contract and was willing to pay that, play for that amount of money. So the Raiders aren't going to make up for it. They're not going to be like, okay, well, we'll pay you 20 mil because you played, for 11 mil the last 2 years. Like, they don't care about that shit. That his agent fucked up, and with the way sports is going today, 20 million seems about right. But to me, I wouldn't pay him more than 16, like 16, 17. I think that's the range, right? Because let's face it, he had 1,000 yards. He had his first almost 100 catches in a season. But that's because him and Brock Bowers were the only targets. They had absolutely no running game. This year, they're going to have a running game. They're going to have a quarterback that's going to scramble out. He's going to roll out. He's going to run the ball some. So, Jacoby Meyers' touches are going to go down. His numbers are going to go down. Now, even with all the talk that, him and Geno have a great connection, you still brought in Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is going to get his catches. You still have Trey Tucker that everybody's saying, Trey Tucker's going to have a breakout year. He's been tearing it up in camp. The one-on-ones, he's been smoking fools with them afterburners. So, I think there's too many weapons for Jacoby and Brock to have the years they had last year. Now, Brock is going to get his 1,000 yards, I believe, just because he's Brock Bowers. He don't have to have the touches that everybody else does to achieve those numbers. But Jacoby, on the other hand, I think his stats go way down, and I think the Raiders understand that. They're like, man, we're going to ask you to do a lot of blocking, right? We're going to ask you to block in the run game, and you're not going to be the first option. You might not even be the second option, right? If Dante Thornton comes out and starts to be that dude, and where he's the featured receiver, that means Jacoby is number 3, because even with Dante Thornton being the featured receiver, Brock is still number 1. Brock is still going to be the first target. He's going to be the first option on almost every single play. I guarantee you. They're going to be like, look where Brock is. Whether it's 5 yards, 10 yards, 20 yards downfield, that's going to be the talk. That's going to be the focal point. And if it's not, then the Raiders are making a mistake, bro. You're making a mistake. You have to feed Brock Bowers as much as you can. And then, like I said, with that run game, we're going to have a run game. Last year, we didn't even run the ball 20 times a game, I think. We had 2 games where we ran the ball more than 20 times a game. That's not going to happen this year. We're going to have almost every game over 20 touches on the ground. I can almost guarantee you that. Chip Kelly loves to pound the rock. Pete Carroll loves to pound the rock. They both have that philosophy. You win by running the clock out, keeping the ball out of the other team's hand. And the only way you keep the ball out of the other team's hand is to run the shit out of the football. So, again, it's going to take a lot away from these guys. A lot. Best McCaffrey had was 1,300 yards, and that was only 1 year in 2020. But he's had close to 1,000 yards every season, though, right? And Decaf's got that speed, bro. Decaf is a long ball threat. Jacoby has never really been that long ball threat. He's a good route runner, right? He's a good physical guy, that hard hat guy. And until you're, unless you're, and I'm not saying he's not a number 1. I'm not saying that. But, he's not Justin Jefferson, right? He's not St. Brown. He's not none of these cats, right? He's just not. He's not. Let's be honest. He's good. He's damn good. I want him to be a Raider because I think we need him this season. I think they should pay the man, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is. I think they should pay him. But to say he's, top 15 is hard, bro. It's hard. And maybe we'll break down the top receivers tomorrow. We'll go over that. If you invite your boyfriend, I don't have a, who the fuck you talking to? Morning came quick. Depends on what time you go to sleep. If you go to sleep late, then yes, the morning comes very quick. Looks like look at it this way: we paid Kuntz $12 million this year, and he was hurt last year. I agree to that too. I agree. That's But they're going off of what he did in the past. And if you're going off what Jacoby did in the past and not just this year, holy shit, I'm getting attacked. um, if you go off that and not just what he did, this year, there's not a lot to go off of. He did have um, 800 yards and 8 touchdowns, as many as Devontae Adams had 2 years ago. And shout out everybody in the live. Shout out everybody rocking with your boy. Appreciate y'all. Teams will load the box and the O-line won't hold up. Come on, man. Don't come at me with that, bro. That's all you got. They're going to load the box. They're going to get murdered. If you stack the box against an offense that has Brock Bowers and Jacoby Meyers and Dante Thornton on the other side, you're going to get cooked, bro. You're going to get cooked. The Raiders are going to be a play-action team. Chip Kelly's always been a play-action team. They're going to run a lot of play-action. You're not stacking the box if they're running play-action. They're going to make sure you don't stack the box. They're going to get a lot of plays with defensive backs, 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive backs in there. They're going to turn into run plays. They're going to give Geno the ability to change the play at the line of scrimmage, I believe. There's no way they're going to stack the box. It's crazy. They could try. We'll see. I hope they do. Junior hanging out with the Raider Nation, right? You got to come learn from the best nation, all right? There's only one nation. Only one nation. Chiefs got youth. Look, I'll say this about the Chiefs. The Raiders should have picked that offensive lineman. They really should have. Justin Simmons is going to be a dog, man. And if he turns out to be as good as I think he's going to be, it's not good for us, man. It's not good for us. Not good for us. But hopefully he's not. Salute, Rebel. How's your night? It's going pretty good. My back is killing me, but it's all good. I don't know. I just know that they let go most of our good players last year to bring in these cheap replacements that until week 1 we're not sure if we made the team better or not. I agree with that. There's a lot of question marks, right? A lot of question marks. But like we've said and we've talked about it before, I feel like Jeremy Chin is, a guy that's going to be sneaky good, and he's going to cause a lot of problems. I think Jamal Adams was a damn good pickup. And if we're looking at Jamal Adams and Nate Hobbs, right? I mean, I don't know. If Jamal Adams could stay healthy, if you look at their careers, I think Jamal Adams can be that Nate Hobbs replacement. The problem is they put him at linebacker, and, instead of in the slot, where is he going to play? That's a question. I think we got 3 linebackers for Robert Spillane, right? Divine Diablo, who couldn't tackle worth a shit. I said all year, Divine Diablo couldn't tackle a mannequin in a department store, right? The dude he whiffed on so many tackles, cost us so much in so many games. Tremaine Pratt is not that guy, right? He's a sure tackler. Landon Roberts is going to knock the souls out of people. So we have a lot of questions. But if you hear Pete Carroll talk, if we're half as good as he thinks we're going to be, man, I think we're going to be damn good. I think he's brought that killer instinct, that philosophy to the Raiders. And, I think Isaiah Palamau is, showed enough that he could take that next step. So, if he could replace what Marcus Epps did, or if he could replace, what Trayvon Merrick did, or half of that, I think Jeremy Chin's got the rest covered. Um, I like Chris Sims, what he's been doing out there. I like the fact that they kept Trey Taylor on the practice squad. He's a guy that's going to come around. So we have upside. We have a lot of upside on this team. It's just a lot of question marks. And like you said, until week 1, when we see it in live action, when we see it when the bullets start flying, because they're going to be flying. Drake May is going to throw the shit out of the football. Like I said, they're going to run the football down our throat. You have Travion Henderson, who the first time he ever touched a football in the NFL ran a 101-yard kickoff return. Special teams is going to be, a big question. Can we stop guys? Can we tackle? Can we make plays, on the punt returns, on the kick returns? I feel like we have guys that can, right? Dylan Labe back there. They're going to have Trey Tucker running kickoff and punt returns, possibly. So we have a lot of questions, but we have a lot of promising questions, right? That if these guys can just do their 111, do their job, not give up, huge plays, we'll be all right. I think we'll be all right. I think we're going to put a lot of points on the board. And that front seven is going to cause problems. It's going to cause major problems. Yeah, you didn't care for Diablo. I don't think anybody did. Trying to bring a safety to play a linebacker position that's not a good tackler is not a good project, in my opinion. Not a good project at all. Peace out, Raider Nation. GeoMex, I appreciate you pulling up. You never emailed me, bro. If you want some merch, it's free, man, for supporting the channel. Let me know. Have a good night. Appreciate you. Raiders. Think about those you hate and always remember, Raider Nation for life. Let's go. Fuck the other 31, right? It's only one nation. Appreciate you, my guy, being in here. Have a good night. Decorating your office. The last thing on Jacoby Meyers is he balls out this year and gets 1,400 or 1,500 yards and 12 tutties. I doubt he stays next year, even if they offered him $30 million. And I doubt they would. Bro, if he has 14 to 1,500 yards and 10 to 12 touchdowns, he's not going anywhere. They're going to pay that man. But I just don't see that. That's Brock Bowers' numbers right there. And I don't think, like I said, I just don't feel like Jacoby is going to be the focal point as much as he was last year. Last year, he had to be the focal point. We had nobody. We had, young guys, right? We had, I can't even remember our receivers. Can't even remember any of our receivers. Alex Bachman, was one. We had Christian Wilkerson, who never really did anything for us. We had my guy from Tennessee, who I thought was going to be good, Ramel Keaton. Is that his name? Ramel Keaton out of Tennessee. So, yeah, there was nobody to throw the ball to. It was Brock Bowers, who was a rookie, who should have never had as many touches as he had being a rookie, right? We just didn't have options. And I think this year we have options. We're going to pass the ball a lot out of the backfield with Dylan Labe, with, even with Ashton Genty, with Raheem Mostert. I think there's going to be a lot of passes out of the backfield, a lot of screen plays, right? A lot of short passes, because you got guys like Michael Mayer, you got guys like Brock Bowers, and nobody's going to be able to cover those dudes 5-10 yards. Like, they're going to be open a lot. Kind of like my Hogs were. Shout out to the Hogs, man. Omega Blake. If you haven't seen this young man, if you haven't seen JT, CJ Thomas, or man, go watch these receivers. Go watch the Hog highlights from yesterday. These guys are nasty, bro. And if the Raiders are anything like the offense, which I think is going to be kind of like a Bobby Petrino offense with Chip Kelly, kind of the same, right? Run the ball, pound the rock, throw crazy deep balls with a lot of short routes. man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to watch. I can't wait. I can't wait till next week. I can't wait till Thursday night football. Who do y'all got for Thursday? Who do you have? The Chiefs or the Chargers on Friday night football? The one thing I will say is the Chargers have, they're going to have a lot of time to prepare for the Raiders. But the one good thing that we have going for us is what they see in week 1 is going to be totally opposite of what they see in week 2. And I can almost guarantee that. My wife, Candy Unlock, said 11-6. I have to teach her. Yeah, you might. Raiders. I say 60. An LSU fan. You're an LSU fan? They had a pretty good game, man. They had a pretty good game. What, number 9 upset number 4? Number 4 Clemson. That was a good game, man. I love Nussmeier. I think he's a damn good quarterback. If I was the Raiders and I was looking at a quarterback to draft, he would definitely be on my draft board. He would definitely be in my top 30 visits. I think Nussmeier is going to be that dog. I don't know. Bitch, I'm not your wife. And I said 12-5. Ooh, bitch, she ain't your wife. Right? I hope so. 11-6. I think, 11-6, 12-5 that's the ceiling, bro. That's if everything goes right. If we stay healthy, if Gino gets hot and is cooking, if he has a connection from week 1, from day 1, then Army let you down. Yeah, that was a rough game too. That was a rough game. I watched part of it. I didn't watch all of it. What was the final score? What was the final score? My Hogs, dude, they're, man. Yeah, big win over Clemson. Cade Klubnik. Shout out to everybody in the building. Like, subscribe, tickle the notification button if you're vibing with this kind of content. You don't have to be a Raiders fan. We talk a little bit of everything here, but mainly Raiders. So, sub even if you ain't coming back. No. Raiders. Okay, I'm out. Nice. 30-27. Oh. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. That's rough, man. That's rough. They got a solid team over there, man. They got a solid team. There was some good ass games on this week. A lot of them, like I said, were a bunch of defensive games that I thought were going to be, big explosive games. I will say Boise State missed Ashton Genty tremendously, bro. Tremendously. So I hope that is a great sign. Tesla was a dog for the Razorbacks. He should have got way more catches than he did. Him and Taylor Green just didn't have that connection I felt like they should have. But he's going to kill it in Detroit, bro. He's going to be one of their top receivers. The man is an absolute monster, for sure. You got an elite... there's some elite receivers on all these teams, bro. All these teams. That kid for... Oh, that was, right? Harper? Is that who you're talking about? No, that was for Nick Harper. That kid for South Carolina, bro. That kid is a dog. An absolute dog. He's going to be special. Very, very special. And Sellers, Lenore Sellers. Woo-hoo! Woo! I would not mind the Raiders taking a chance on that kid, man. He has a rocket arm. He is very accurate. he he is strong. He's physical. He, man, I like that kid. I like him a lot. Not as much as I like Taylor Green for Arkansas, but I like that young man. I have Tesla on my Dynasty Fantasy League. Smart man, smart man. Yeah, he was a dog at Arkansas. He was a dog. He was killing it in the preseason for the Lions. He's going to get a lot of touches. He's going to get a lot of touches. He's a guy that can create separation. He's big, he's strong, he's physical, and he's deceptively fast. So he's going to, he's going to surprise a lot of people in the NFL, I feel. Is this draft class... It's the draft classes better than ever lately. I'm confused. Shout out to my guy Jacob Olsen. Appreciate you pulling up. First time in the building. Cosmic Slope Man, what's good? Nick Harbor is a freak physically. That's what I'm saying, bro. That dude is nasty, bro. Nasty. South Carolina is going to be a team. They're going to be a team to surprise some people. I guarantee you. They are sneaky good, man. They have a dynamic quarterback. They have a freak of nature on weapon. They have a decent run game. Their defense seems to be solid. Yeah, it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. Size matters. Depending on who you're talking to. Some people say it doesn't. Some people say it does. I think the people that say it doesn't are lying. But I don't know. The quarterback Michigan guy is legit. I seen that Michigan game, a little bit of it. I seen mostly the dude get ejected for the tackle. How do y'all feel about that? Did anybody see the tackle in the Michigan game? Yes or no? I'm a Raider fan. I'm from Maryland, so I follow the Terps. Nice. Shout out. Raiders. Welcome to the channel. I appreciate you pulling up. Rebel Candy is a wide receiver 1. She is not. Yeah, bro. The dude made a great tackle on the quarterback, had his hands up, did everything he could possibly do, tried not to fall on him, and they ejected him. Absolutely ridiculous. So horrible, man. These refs got to get it right. Michigan players are always doing that. Dirtiest team over the past few years. I don't think it was dirty, man. Like, I guess you could have hit him and tried to hold him up and not fall on him. He did kind of suplex and land on his body, but that's just football, man. It's football. You can't just completely stop yourself from trying to tackle a dude when you're 6'5", almost 300 pounds, trying to get to a quarterback. You don't stop on a dime. The NFL, or the college football and the NFL has just got weak. So to eject somebody, man, for trying to make a tackle in the NFL it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, she'll take whatever I tell her to. Michigan quarterback is a dog. I think so. I think CJ Carr kid is a flipping dog, man. He is tough. I'm sitting over here trying to watch this game. You will. Shut up. I'm sitting over here trying to watch this game, parts of it, while I'm doing this live. But yeah, the kid is tough, man. I thought they were gonna lose. I thought they were gonna, slide off a lot. Notre Dame losing my guy Riley Leonard. But their coach ain't no joke, bro. Their coach ain't no joke. He decided to go with the freshman because his gut told him to go with the freshman. And, great call. Too bad he signed an 8-year contract with Notre Dame, because I think he would be a damn good quarterback a damn good coach in the NFL. But, you know, Notre Dame's got a real good coach over there, and he's a damn good eye for talent, right? You have a guy was been on your team, what, for 2-3 years now? Pretty solid quarterback over there, and they just decided to take a shot in the freshman who played his ass off. I'm not going to lie. I either related to Derek. No, he's not related to Derek Carr, which is kind of weird. His grandfather, I think, is a coach in college football. Can you see Mayer lining up in the backfield, like how the Redskins use Chris Cooley, like a Joker type? I would. I mean, if it was me, I would, right? I think the Steelers did that before they, with Cordell Patterson a while back, before he had to play NFL quarterback, the Wildcat. So you could. I think it would, it would be something to have in your playbook, right? It's definitely something to have for, some short yardage situations, or when you really need a big play. Teams aren't going to be expecting it. I mean, I would definitely have some packages for it. It would make sense. It would definitely make sense. Candy, you got to prove it in Indy. That's why he's saying it. Yeah, you have to prove it in Indy. That's why I'm saying it. I don't know. Junior, I have no clue what the F you are talking about. I don't think anybody knows what Junior's talking about most of the time. It's kind of hit or miss with Junior. But, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So, looking at week 1, who is your sleepers so far in college football? What team do you think, LVR? What's good? Let me know what teams you think might could possibly slip into the top 25, if any. Shout out to my guy LVR. What's your thoughts on the season? What's your take? Are you ready? Do you think we're good? Do you think we should sign anybody? Central Florida is a sleeper for sure. They've got a great quarterback. All right, I'm going to have to go check out Central Florida. Who's their quarterback? I did not watch any Central Florida games today. I did watch a lot the last couple years because I was living in Florida. And they were on the TV a lot. LSU to the playoffs, and Miami has a shot. #1 Raiders fan. That's what you should be. Raiders fan for life. Shout out for the $2 holler. I appreciate you. Oh, they smoked. Oh, I did watch some of that game. Yeah, that quarterback was nasty. I'm not going to lie. I do not know his name, but yes, I did watch some of that game. And what I was saying, man, is I hope Boise State, being as bad as they were, without Ashton Genty, is a damn good sign of how good this young man is going to be for the Las Vegas Raiders and how much momentum he's going to bring this team, being able to run the ball, being able to be physical, to pick up short yardage. If we could get the same thing from Zeus, it's going to be nasty. And I thought, like I said, you better get away from me, you damn mosquito. I thought Notre Dame was going to drop off a little bit with their quarterback, but man, there's a lot of quarterbacks that looked very, very impressive in week 1, and there's some that were supposed to be impressive that didn't look very good. Cade Klubnik looked okay. Didn't have the greatest outing. South Florida, that's why I was confused. USF QB is Jalen Hurts. What? Stop. Oh, it's like Jalen Hurts? I mean, you can't go wrong with Jalen Hurts, right? You can't go wrong with Jalen Hurts. A guy that can run the ball, that can throw the ball. A guy that makes smart decisions. A guy that's not all about me, right? He's a guy that obviously he doesn't have to throw the ball 30 times a game, right? He's happy with passing for 116 or 160 yards a game with one touchdown because you got a guy like Saquon Barkley back there. Um, there's some special quarterbacks, man. There's these guys coming out of college are only getting better and better and better and better. Um, Byron Brown. I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, because I got to get ready to do my get ready for the draft already. You never know. But I think this draft class is going to be extremely special, man. And shit, next year too, like there's some dogs. There's some defensive players that are, the kid from LSU. What up? Good luck to your team next season. Tyler Helton, what's good? I can't say good luck to the Chiefs. I can't. I can't. I can only wish bad for them. I can only wish bad. Nah, but, I hope they have a good season. I just hope they finish last in the division. I'm tired of losing to the Chiefs. I'm sure everybody else in the division is tired of losing to the Chiefs. And all good things have to come to an end, right? All good things have to come to an end. But if that offensive lineman turns out to be anything like I think he's going to be, man. Y'all got Packers or Lions week 1. We have New England Patriots week 1. There's another guy that knows what's up. Who, my guy Tyler, because he's a Chiefs fan? He might know what's up. He's in the right chat. He's in the right chat, right? I'm just saying. No, it's been a minute. Appreciate you seeing you back, man. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough year, man. It's gonna be a tough year. I think the Chargers. We talked about it, and what's tomorrow? Monday. What are we doing tomorrow? What am I gonna do tomorrow? I don't know, but I will be live all this week, sore back or not. We have a lot to talk about. We have to break down defenses for each team we're playing this year. We have to break down each team we're playing to see where my record is going to hold up, because I'm sticking with it. But let's just see, how good it looks. And hopefully the Raiders make some moves, man. We've heard people talk about it in the chat. They have a lot of money, right? They have $98 million projected next year. They still have $30 million on the cap, sixth in the NFL. And they still have some questions. But this coaching staff, for some reason, feels like they don't have questions, right? So where do we spend that money? To me, you go get Jabril Peppers, man. You go get a hammer in the middle, a guy that's ask Devontae Adams. Just ask Devontae Adams how hard he hits. I'll just leave it at that. To me, that's a perfect Pete Carroll fit, man. A perfect Pete Carroll fit. So I'm going to cross my fingers. That Pete Carroll knows what he's doing. And these defensive backs can cover. Again, hopefully it's not for 5 seconds. Hopefully it's not for 4 seconds. And hopefully we have the defensive line and the front seven to make some noise. And I believe we do. So I appreciate everybody being in the building. If y'all ain't got nothing else to talk about, let me know. If y'all want to talk about anything else, let me know. We talked about the upsets. What other upsets was there? We talked about Texas not looking good against Ohio State. Ohio State's offense did not look good without Chip Kelly. I will say that, right? They have a new quarterback, but their offense just wasn't what it was last year when they had 2,000-yard rushers, when they had 2,000-yard receivers. I think they still have one of the best receivers in the country over there. The hell's his name? But he didn't look the same, right? He wasn't open. They didn't run the same routes, and I hope, again, that's a good sign for the Raiders, right? Because so far, Ohio State lost their offensive coordinator. Their offense struggled tremendously. Boise State, right? They lost their number one running back, who the Raiders gained. They struggled tremendously. So hopefully those are damn good signs for the Raiders that, you know, they can come in and do for us what they did for Ohio State and what they did for Boise State. And if those two things go together, Chip Kelly's offense is clicking and is on point, and our running game is a factor because it hasn't been for a while, then I believe we're good, man. I believe we're good. I didn't see Ryan Williams get knocked the fuck out. There was some huge hits today. There was some huge hits today and yesterday. And look for a short to be coming out. I think I'm going to put a little short together of some of these dudes getting absolutely decapitated, man. So, football is back, man. Football is back. Shout out to everybody. 19 people being in here. Please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. If you're rocking with this kind of content, subscribe to the channel. But yeah, man, college football is back. The NFL starts on Thursday. They're blessing us with a Friday game as well. So, you know, Sunday, Monday, man, I can't wait. What else we got? It's too early, way too early to break down any of these players, right? Week one. But man, there were some studs. I might put together a compilation and do a video of my college studs. You know, something I don't usually do for members only, because I haven't done shit for the members in the last couple weeks. I got to get back to y'all. I ain't forgot about y'all. I appreciate y'all for being members and rocking with your guys. So look for some videos to come out. Look for some shorts to come out. There was some big ass hits that I have on film. I have on film that I will be putting out. But yeah, man, I'm excited, bro. I'm excited. If the season, the NFL season, goes anything like the college season, you know, started this week, I think it's going to be fun. I think the Raiders are going to surprise some people all around. And hopefully it's in a good way. Hopefully it's in a good way. Football is back. I still watch pro wrestling too. Wasn't there a pay-per-view tonight? Did I miss the pay-per-view? Fuck, I think I missed a pay-per-view tonight. Well, I guess I'll get off here and watch the replay. Damn, I did miss the pay-per-view. I'm always missing. I missed the AEW one last week. I'm slipping, man. I'm slipping. I gotta start putting a reminder in my phone to set a reminder so I don't miss the pay-per-views, man. That's bullshit. But yeah, I love watching wrestling. It's always fun. It's always good shit. So I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna go watch some wrestling. Shout out to everybody rocking with your guy. I will be on again tomorrow. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all again. Every time I say that, people keep popping in. And I hate to leave when people keep popping in, but like, subscribe, follow. I'm back. Had to call Candy. Did she hang up on you? What'd you call her? Because I know she ain't answering, bro. I know she ain't answering. Yeah, we talked about Texas. We talked about the Florida State upsetting Alabama. I love to see. As a huge Alabama hater, just because I'm an Arkansas Razorbacks fan and they have dominated the SEC for so long, them and Georgia, just makes me sick. So, you know, Georgia's still good. That's kind of shitty. But it's good to see Alabama lose. And hopefully the dynasty in Alabama is over and they are on the downhill slide. And my Hogs, Arkansas Razorbacks, woo, pig suey, right, can move up in those standings and start making some noise in the SEC, because I'm tired of losing in college. I'm tired of losing in the pros. I'm tired of every team I pick being losers. So with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace out. Much love. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Love one another. And if you have mental health issues, my hotline is always open. You don't have to be a member. You just have to click on the community page. Call the hotline. Leave a message. Much love. I thought you was leaving, Geomex. Have a good night. I appreciate y'all. Raiders. Much love. Peace. To rest you can have insomnia. Peace. Oh shit. Love y'all.